Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Benny Hill Show.
Good evening. Well, I must say, it's very, very nice to be back with you once again. Since I was last with you, I had a short holiday on the continent, and I was surprised over there to find out how many people speak English. And this, I think, is because they, on the continent, show their television language programs at peak hours. And as a matter of fact, there's one just going on now, and we are linked up with Eurovision, with the Eurovision link, and I think, yes, they are ready. We're going over now for the English language lesson coming from the Ulster University in Hamburg.
Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren.
Good body every evening. And a special welcome to all the British gentle and ladies men who are watching this television show in the privy of their own homes. Tonight, my assistant, Fräulein Kramp, and myself shall speaking in useful everyday vernacular, useful everyday English phrases, and the pupils here in the glass shall writen in the books the equivalent in German. And pupils, I want the writen, right, I don't want it written, rotten. Bitte schön, kommen Sie hier.
Nicht und deine Nelly.
Nicht Was ist das? Das ist nicht Deutsch. Ich habe gedacht, deine Klange mit dieser großen Dunkel. Kommst du hier, Fräulein Kramp, bitte schön. Here we are with the useful everyday phrases.
I am a German girl. I am 19 years of age.
I am a German boy. I am 20 years of age.
You are joking.
I am joking.
I live in Altona. I am very pretty.
She lives in Altona. She is very pretty. I live in Harburg. I am very handsome.
He lives in Harburg.
Did you get home all right last night?
Yes, I got home all right last night.
I am glad.
It was no thanks to you.
Last night I was a little squiffy.
Last night you were blind, stinking, drunk.
I shall come to your house this evening.
My mother will be in the house this evening.
Your mother is an old crow.
I am very angry with you.
She is very angry with me.
I am picking up the vase.
She is picking up the vase. What shall you do with the vase?
I shall break the vase over your head.
I am rapidly leaving the room. She has hit me around the ear hole.
I have hit him round the ear hole. What will you do now?
I shall say good night to all our British viewers. Good night, viewers.
very much. Ladies and gentlemen, at the recent television festival at Montreux, the commercial break entry was won by Germany with these three rather familiar-looking commercials. Hier in Bad München, die differente Hausfrauen getreien eine Stück Taste-Test. Und ich habe hier Frau Klinker. Frau Klinker, denkst du kannst ein Stück von Butter?
Ja, ich will gar.
Und du willst accept the 5-Mark-Challenge?
Ja, accept it.
Okay, wir gehen. Wir gehen mal rein. Ja, es ist richtig. Aber 4 out of 5 people can nicht tell the difference.
Grete!
Otto, this man have given me 5 Mark.
5 Mark? Und wer ist das?
Vergangen in der Caravan mit ihm vor 2 Minuten.
In der Caravan?
Ja, this is mein Husband.
Ja, seine Frau can tell the difference. So, if du can tell Stück von Butter, der ist 5 Mark für du. Das ist Stück.
Ja, ich habe Rasieren mit der Oder Shave Blades, aber wenn ich rasieren mit der oder einer, oder vielleicht einer, ich habe always the 5 o'clock shadow. Meine Fräulein hat always das Stubeltrobel. Konsequentlich, ich habe nicht Fräulein. Aber zu Tag, ich utilisiere der Prosit Shave Blade. Und ich habe eine Fräulein. Diese Fräulein ist so schön mit der kleinen Cursum und der großen Börsum. Und es ist all danke to Prosit Shave Blade. Der Shave Blade mit 3 Holen in der Mitte.
Hi da, ich bin in der Haus der Frau Dunkel und seiner Hilde. Er hat ihn getestet, der neue Waschenpowder Oshmo. Was ist das, Frau Dunkel?
Ja, weil ich habe vor der 3 Wochen waschen mit Oshmo und ich habe der erste Woche notiert, in mein Waschen ist mehr weißer und breiser und viel. Und der nächste Woche es ist mehr breiser. Es ist weißer denn weiß. Meine Kamipanzes, gucken meine Kamipanzes. Und in der letzten Woche es ist breiser still. Das ist der guckende Bussenhalter auf meinem
Danke. Und nicht vergessen, für Weißness mit Preisness geht ein Oshmo. Even weiß Nylon. Komm auf Weiße.
Good evening, hello viewers. I'm speaking to you this evening from the BBC Research Department. And with me now is the Chief Researcher, Mr. Frederick Scuttle.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, Mr. Scuttle.
Good evening, viewers.
Now, Mr. Scuttle, we've heard a great deal about audience measurement.
Yes.
Would you like to estimate exactly how many people you think are watching this show now?
We estimate, sir, 59 million, sir.
But the entire population's only 50 million.
Some watch more than others.
But of course, you only investigate a small percentage of these, don't you?
Yeah, but even so, sir, we have a very high degree of authenticity, sir.
I see. Well, of course, you must use highly skilled investigators for the job.
Oh, indeed, yes, they have to go out to meet people, you know, they have to be able to talk to people man to man in their own language, you understand, sir,
I
yes.
see. They're expected to interview them in the vernacular.
If that is where they are, sir, that is where they will interview them. And they have to shout, so they'll get through, sir.
Now, Mr. Scuttle, I notice behind us this
Yes.
very impressive-looking graph. What exactly does it show?
I will demonstrate, sir. Hang on, sir. You see, this, sir, demonstrates, you see, the number of shows the BBC put out last year, sir.
I see it.
Yes, sir.
What accounts for this very steep rise in June, Mr. Scuttle?
Ah, yes. Well, that is my secretary, sir, you see, Miss Goosehead. You see, she was making up the graph, you see, along here, you see. Whilst leaning forward, I'm walking slowly backwards, you see. when I happened to be stood about there, sir, you see, and I accidentally and inadvertently bumped into her, sir, causing the sharp rise in the rubber
See, yes. Well, now, Mr. Scudder, you're responsible for the entire BBC television output, aren't you?
yes,
Not
yes.
just light entertainment.
The whole lot, sir. You see, over here, sir, top of the tops. You see, I advise on that side. I advise people like Julie Rogers, Roy Orbison.
Jean Pitney?
Her as well, sir. I know them on the play, sir. Only last week I was passing Studio 3, sir. There's a girl coming through the French windows in the studio there, sir. She had the jodhpurs on, sir, the riding hat and the riding crop, splattered with mud. She says, "Mummy, Daddy, I have come from the meet." I had to tell her, sir, I have come for the meet. Fresh out of radar, sir. She didn't know, sir. Then this other fella comes on, sir. He says, "I'm the Buddha surveyor. I'm going to set my theodolite." I had to stop him, sir. No naked flames are allowed in the studio, you see. You have to tell him, you know.
And, Mr. Scuttle, who's responsible for putting the shows out?
Hugh and I. That's a good name for a show, that, isn't it? Oh, yes. Oh, I must remember that. No, sir. So Hugh, Carlton, Green and I. So we'd like to do the one show, you see, and if we think it's a good one, and we run it into a series, you see.
And if you don't think it's good?
Oh, well then, sir, we don't show it, you see, sir.
Oh, I see. You scrap it.
No, we don't scrap it, sir. We save it to show would-be producers, you see, how not to put a show together, you see.
I must say I'd rather enjoy seeing some of those shows that never made it.
Would you, sir? I'll get young Tom Sloan to show one or two for you,
now?
sir. Yes, he's on the thing. Yeah, come and sit down there, sir.
Yeah?
Yeah, won't be a second. I'll get him to... They're here on the thing. I'll just switch on. I'll get it done right through.
Well, thank you, Mr. Scuttle. I expect you're as fascinated as I am. I'm sure you're as interested as I am to see some of these shows that never actually reached your screens. Yes, I think they're ready now, so let's just sit back and enjoy them, shall we?
Good evening. We are starting our series tonight with songs from around the world, with the international globe-trotting folk singer with the true ethnic sound, Ivor Burls.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to start off this evening with a very wonderful African song. You probably know it as Marion Makiba's famous Click song. And a lot of the African people say that a non-African cannot sing Marion Makiba's Click song, as it is terribly difficult to pronounce. But after years of study, I managed to acquire the manner in which it is done. Here it is then, Marion Makiba's famous Click song. Il ina ilecha utwane ilecha ilina utwane aya olena mai atwane ilina ilecha. What the hell are you doing there?
In the television studios in Heidelberg is Baron von Feidel, member of one of the oldest aristocratic families in Europe. Now, as his command of English is somewhat limited, or so he tells us, the Baron has asked that the questions be numbered, and he has his answers prepared, I believe, and also numbered. Yes, so I think now that we could fire away with the first question. Hello, Baron. How are you?
What? Hello?
Oh, how are you, Baron?
Number one.
There seems to be something a little bit wrong. I think we'll just carry on with question number 2.
Number 1.
Is it true that you're coming to England soon?
I am very well, thank you.
Yes, is it true that this time you will be marrying your fiancée, Lady Selma?
Yes, and I hope to see much more this time than I was able to see on my last visit. There are several interesting and out-of-the-way places I would like to visit. I would have visited them on my last trip, but I was not given the opportunity.
Baron, where are you going to spend your honeymoon?
Yes, I hope so.
Well, now, Now, Baron, changing the subject, I believe that you have the only herd of Macedonian camels in captivity. Tell me, where do you keep them?
In a small hotel in Eastbourne. The ozone there is beautiful. You know, you get the smell of the sea and all sorts of nice smells there.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, is there anything that you would like to find in England that you didn't find the last time you were here?
140,000 square miles of desert, you see. That is where my camels are roam freely, you see.
Is there anyone that you would like to talk to on your next trip?
Yes, Albert Hall. Never been there.
I believe that by your first marriage, Baron, you have got 2 children.
Yes, they are Sir Alec Douglas Hume and Mr. Harold Wilson.
Will you be bringing them with you?
Unfortunately, the eldest one has got the whooping cough. And the little fat round one has got the nappy rash.
Thank you and good night, Baron.
I won't be bringing them with me.
He's talking about.
Thank you and good night. Bye, Luz. Ich krieg meine Schule.
Round Britain Poetry tonight comes from Dalton Abbott and introduces for the first time on television one of the West Country's most prolific poets, Ted Tingle. Tonight he brings a poem with a story. The story of an old man who finds it's never too late for a dream to become reality. Here then with the old fiddler is Ted Tingle.
'Twas market day in the village and the crowd round the stores was quite dense. But what caught my eye was a stall piled high with a musical instrument. And up the store come a little old man. His toe clothes was all tattered and thin, but his face come alight as his eyeballs caught sight of a beautiful old violin. He held it up to the dealer, saying, "How much is this one, then?" He replied, "It's a Stradivarius, my man. That'll cost you £4.10. "I can't afford that," said the little old man, and a lump came into my throat. I was feeling quite chuffed, and so I stuffed in his hand a 10-shilling note. A crowd had gathered behind us, so I quickly went round with his hat. When we'd finished, I'd found I collected £5, so I took my 10-shilling back. Well, we give the dealer the money, and the old man, so shabbily dressed, picked up the violin, stuck it under his chin, and he played like a man possessed. He played fugues and cantatas, and oratoritos too, by composers like Johann Sebastian Bach, to mention only a few. He played waltzes by Strauss and D. Floydemorse, and tales from the Vienna Wood. Then Tchaikovsky's Piano Concerto, but he didn't play that quite so good. "Well done," cried the crowd when he finished, and they gently patted his head. But the excitement was too much for the little old man, who unfortunately dropped down dead. Well, we give the dealer the fiddle and took back our £4.10. Then we picked up the old man, and we laid him to rest in the cemetery down by the glen. But sometimes at night, when the moon do shine bright, if I should wander that way up over the hill, it seems that still I can hear the old man play. Yes, the words of that popular song ring true. For though the old man is gone, yes, though the song has ended, the melody lingers on.
Good evening. Tonight we present for the first time on BBC TV Continental Cabaret. We hope during this series to bring you some of the finest performers from the European cabaret scene. Our first guests in this program offer you a Tyrolean Tippisch dance. So here now, complete with lederhosen, are that popular Austrian couple, Fritz and Chip.
to go, it ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. And I think this is particularly true of show business. And to show you what we mean, what we're going to do tonight, we're going to take an old nursery rhyme, Little Bo Peep, and show you how it might be played by different programs. But here, first of all, is Little Bo Peep in its original form.
Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep and doesn't know where to find them. Leave them alone and they'll come home, bringing their tails behind them.
Hello, Sarge.
Oh, Fancy. He's been looking for you.
Who has?
Inspector Barlow. Who else?
Oh, Wick. What does he want now?
All right, now, I'll see. Yeah. All right, come in. Yeah. Did he really? Yeah. Well, whatever. Fancy.
Yes, sir.
Look, when I said fancy, I didn't mean fancy. I meant fancy. I know, Mr. Peep. I'll send one of my men over. We better get over to Old Man Peep's sheep farm. His entire flock's gone.
To them, sir?
His daughter. Better have a chat with her.
What's her name, sir?
Bo.
Oh, how do you spell it?
B.
He doesn't have many friends. Off you go, lad. Oh, and Fancy. Tell Sergeant Blackie to send that fellow in, will you? Come in, lad. Shut up, lad. Oh, we're out late tonight, aren't we, lad, eh? Come on, lad. What are we doing walking across the moors at 11:30 at night, eh?
I've been to a dance.
You're all covered in white hair, then.
I was dancing with a blonde-haired lady.
She molting or something?
No, she was tearing her hair out over me.
And why did you come on by yourself, then?
I don't like bald-headed women.
Stay with me, lad. I'll have you inside before your feet touch the ground.
Watch it, copper. You lay a finger on me and you'll be back pounding a beat.
After all, I'm your friend, though. I'm here to help you. Huh? Now.
It's like a bear with a sore head tonight.
Eyes here. Righto. He wants you back in.
What the heck now?
No need to go now, Fancy. We've got our lad right here. He's stealing sheep for months and hiding them in his house, he has. He's our lad, all right.
What did you tell, sir?
Knew the minute you told me his name. Come on, lad, let's have it again. What's your name?
Basil Marchbanks, Mr. Barlow.
Fancy.
Missing 6,000 sheep, 24,000 legs of lamb, and heaven knows how many lamb chops won't reach the Sunday lunch table this coming Sunday. Alan Wicker reports.
Ickley Moor. Yesterday, the home of some 6,000 sheep. Today, an empty wasteland. The owner of the sheep, Lord Peep's daughter, Belle, descendant of Samuel Pepys, and today mystified at the disappearance of so many of her spring lambs. The work of criminals, the police are baffled. But in this vast, treacherous moorland with its bogs, with its marshes, anything can happen.
light in yonder window breaks? What light the darkness splinters? Why, 'tis a maid of some 17 summers, aye, and 47 winters. Gads, 'tis the maid Bo Peep, a-pacing of the floor, concerned for her sheep. Those sheep who would one day be transformed into mutton to appease the appetite of some fat-bellied glutton. Picture, if you will, the sheep. One of them, a black sheep, who did leave the moor as sly as any elf, and yet a sheep who was as black as any moor himself. A ram, a horned ram who did his entreaty burn, and wandered off and lost himself for trying to make a U-turn. A gentle sheep, whose wool is spun into a yarn so thin, yet not as thin as this yarn which I do now spin. All this did happen while the maid Bo Peep did sit upon the ground a-counting of her sheep, and by the counting of them did fall asleep. Her father counselled her, bear them no mind, they will return, a-bringing of their tails behind. But as the smallest of these lambs who sat upon the icy ground did cry in voice so bold, so do I say to you, my tale is told.
You in there, Ben Cartwright?
Yeah? Who is it?
It's me, Bo Peep. I've lost my flock.
What did you take it off for?
No, my flock, my sheep, I lost them. It's them boys of yours got them. Now, you're going to let me in, or ain't you?
Now, see here, Mrs. Peep, those boys of mine wouldn't do a thing like that.
Man's out of town, but I'll ask the other two boys if it'll make you feel better.
Ask them nothing. You confront them openly. You tell them you know they took them. I want to see their faces.
Okay, you say so.
Hey, little Joe! Yeah, Paul?
Little Joe, I know everything.
Everything, Paul?
Yeah, little Joe, everything.
Well, I was going to put the money back. I mean, you shouldn't have left your cash box lying around. In any case, Paul, it was for a good cause.
It was?
Yeah, I used the money to bail out Adam. You see, Paul, last Saturday night, he got into a fight and, he beat someone up.
Who'd he beat up?
You know Big Sam, the blacksmith?
Big Sam used to be a prize fighter?
Well, his grandmother.
But he didn't do no sheep stealing.
Oh, gee, no, Paul. We're Cartwrights. He couldn't do anything bad like that.
Okay. Off you go, little Joe. Send in the house, will you?
Sure will, Pa.
Hey, Mrs. Peep, I told you. Yes, I do. Us, I know everything.
Everything?
Yes, everything.
Well, how'd you find out?
Well, Mrs. Peep here just told me.
Gee, Paul, I was only 16 at the time. And you had to go and snitch on me. You said that night in the woodshed was going to be our secret. Let's go play hide and seek, she said. And if you find me, you're going to kiss me. And if you can't find me, I'll be in the old barn.
I'm going about your work now.
There, told you no one round here touched your sheep.
How about that old Indian feller as is always hanging round here?
Well, old White Owl, why, he couldn't even catch a cold, never about round up a herd of sheep.
Well, you get him in here.
Oh, okay. White Owl!
White Owl, I know everything.
Everything?
Yeah, everything.
My son!
Of course, you know, the commercial that really intrigues me is the one with the girl taking the bath. And I don't know, I mean, when you see that one, do you ever sort of wonder how it was made? I mean, what happened before she got into the bath? And what happened when she got out of the bath? And who was there? Well, I was making a commercial the other day, and they were doing one of these bath adverts in the next studio. So when I'd finished what I was doing, I casually strolled over there at about 60 miles an hour. There's a beautiful bath set, and there was this very nervous director sitting there. And all of a sudden, through the studio door came the most beautifully dressed blonde girl. And he went over to her and he said,
Miss Hargraves. Ready when you are. Oh, we can't start till you're in the till you take off your... till you're in the bath, can we? It's for the commercial, dear. Yes, soap. The agency told you soup. Oh. Well, I do assure you, dear, it is soap. Bath soap. Well, people don't take a bath with their clothes on, do they? Yes, dear, I realise it's extra money for taking your clothes off, but I'm sure the agency would be happy to pay the extra. And if they wouldn't, I would. Have a whip round amongst the fellows here. Yes, only the essential technicians will be here, my dear. Only the essential ones, like the lighting man and the cameraman and the car park attendant. Well, he's very interested in photography, you see. Since this morning, yes, that's right. But you need have no fear, because you'll be under the water most of the time, you see. Yes, there'll be bags of lava. Yes, because you see, Harry, the property man, he'll sort of froth up the water, you see. Before you get in, yes. Well, of course, if it goes flat while you're in it, we'll have to rely upon Harry's good breeding, won't we? Yes. Oh, you do sit up at one point, dear, but the camera is on your back there, you see, and Harry will sort of bring the camera round, and when you pick up the soap, he will hold the camera at the front, but on your face, dear. Yes, I promise, it will be on your face, yes. It may be shaking a little, but it will be on your face. You will, right you are then. Dressing gown you'll find behind the screen there. Thank you, lovely. Righto, Harry, froth up the water then. Harry, do it now. We're not doing a continental version. Not do it now. Lovely. Oh, by the way, Miss Hargraves, should there be any shots taken, you know, which are beyond the bounds of respectability, have no fear, because we will cut them out and file them away, throw them away. Yes. Right you are. Ready. Righty-ho, then. Now, in you go in the bath. Just one thing, Miss Hargraves. You're supposed to take your dressing gown off. Thank you. Well, flop it over the side, then, right? Harry, the water does not need frothing up, Harry, please. Harry... oh, you dropped your pen in the bath. Oh, well, you'll just have to get it later, that's all. Righty-ho, here we go. Stand by. Now, take one. Action. On her back. Round you go. Lovely, lovely. Righty-ho, up to her face. Lean forward, dear. Pick up the soap. Cut. Look, dear, lean forward. There's no need to stand up. Well, why did you stand up? Oh, you found Harry's pen. Drop it over the side. Right, now take two, action. Here we go, round with the camera. Lovely. Hold the soap up to your face, dear. Smile, cut, lovely, print it. Oh, that's fine. Righto, Miss Hargraves, behind the screen, dressing gown, thank you. Oh, excuse me, Miss Hargraves. Hello? Yes, speaking. It was soup. Not soap. I see. Thank you. Miss Hargraves, you'll never believe this, but you were right.
Oh, Mother.
Indigestion? Then take a couple of Bennies.
Acid is the cause of most upset stomachs, and this acidity can be measured. But a couple of Bennies will soon put you right.
Feeling better?
I feel fine now.
Take a couple of Bennies.
Aye, hand over the gravy. Hey, hand over the gravy.
Hey, hand over the gravy.
Ah, Misto.
Kneel by the stream, Nelly Jean.
Please. I'm sorry, darling. I'll be all right later. But will I?
Often when you're depressed and run down, you need a course of Philovite. In a few days, you'll feel fine again. Yes, you wouldn't recognize my wife now. She's like a new woman. Full of fun, full of energy. She just never seems to get tired. Feeding people like Billy Cotton is a heavy job, and it requires a heavy job cleaner. Here, where the surface is shiny, just as easy to shift. But this floor really needs a cleaner that cleans everything. Slash, with new DDT, really gets down even to ground in dirt. Yes, Slash really cleans everything.
Slash with DDT gets everything really clean. Slash!
Every week, young men from the provinces come to London in search of glamour and bright lights. Some return home bitter and disillusioned. Others fall into the hands of evil women who prey on these innocent young men. This is the story of one such young man.
Would you mind telling us your name, please?
I should rather remain monotonous.
I see. Well, will you tell us your profession? Would you mind speaking up, please?
I'm a male model.
I see. And this trouble that you got into started, I believe, at Dimpton-on-Sea?
That is quite right. You see, unbeknownst to me, my fiancée took a snapshot of me while I was on the beach, paddling. She sent it up to the carnival committee, and I was invited along to the carnival dance. It wasn't until I arrived there where I realized what was expected of me. Yes, I had been entered for the Nobley-Knees contest. Well, naturally, I didn't want to let my fiancée down, so I went through with it. But I can't tell you how I felt, stood there in front of all those ogling women, with my knees completely naked.
Yes, I can imagine. And then what happened?
Well, after the competition, which incidentally I won, there was a party. And that was my downfall. Yes, I tasted the Dolce Vita, the sweet life of Dimpton-on-Sea. I met the local mayor. I drank South African sherry. I was interviewed by the local press, and I met a girl who did voices over for deodorant commercials. Yes, my cup was filled to overflowing. After that, of course, it was competitions everywhere. One week Bournemouth, next week Whitby. Yes, I was living life with a capital L.
Tell me frankly, though, is there any truth in the rumor that there is a certain amount of cheating in these Nobley-Knees contests?
That's quite right. It's awfully upsetting for me to tell you this, but some of the men wear falsies. Flesh-coloured plastic kneecaps. It makes me ashamed of my own sex. It's got to the stage now where before major competitions, a male nurse goes round tapping us on the kneecap with a little hammer. And I can't tell you how humiliating it is when one drops off.
But your big chance came earlier this year, didn't it?
That is quite right. I was entered for the Knees of the World competition. That meant coming to London, and that was my downfall, my undoing.
Why was that?
Well, I'll tell you why. One evening, me and my friend Malcolm, who was a shy and sensitive used car salesman, we went for a walk up the West End. All we wanted was a little innocent pleasure.
What time was this?
3 o'clock in the morning. Going up a narrow street, we passed the doorway, and in this doorway there was a girl dressed up sort of like a military hussy. Come inside, she said. The place is full of fun-loving girls. Thinking to have perhaps only a game of tiddlywinks, we entered. As I passed this sort of like commissionairess in the sort of like corridor, she gave me a funny look. Some of the girls are naughty girls, she said. Oh, I thought perhaps they tiddle when they should be winking. But oh no, the degradation I found when I got in there. It was terrible. It was like that film about Gomorrah. In the other place. It was full of beatniks with unkept hair and long sideboards, full of drink. conversation was disgusting. There was nothing but suggestive remarks all the time. It was like the Eamon Andrews show. Well, anyway, I'll tell you what happened. It was there that I met this titled and influential lady, and we become very close friends. Yes, she took me to the south of France for 6 months. She bought me a yacht and a lovely sports car and a wardrobe full of very smart clothes. Then one evening, I realized it was not just my friendship she was after. Yes, I knew that sooner or later I would have to pay the price. One evening, she invited me into her luxury penthouse in Goldhawk Road. After several glasses of ruby wine, she started lowering the lights. At first, I thought she wanted to make the darkroom test, but seeing no chocolate in evidence, I realized how wrong I was. It was then she made this nasty suggestion.
What was it?
She suggested that I give her a private showing of my kneecaps. Fleeing in horror and recoiling at this suggestion, I went out of her apartment and vowed to get out of the rat race for good. After all, I was still only 33. I had my whole life before me.
So underneath all the glamour and the tinsel, there's heartbreak.
That's quite right. And I'd just like to say in conclusion, and to end up with, to all young men with nice knobbly knees, do not flaunt them for all the world to see, but save them for the girl you marry. Thank you. Good night. Was I all right? As you know, the BBC is always on the lookout for new vocal groups, and tonight they've come up with a group which they think is the answer to the French swingle singers. It is the Market Gardeners Association Choir, Western Division.
And now, ladies and gentlemen...
They know what they are. We
have a treat in store for you.
And indeed.
And indeed, for all of us up here.
As well.
Too.
Here to give us a soulful ballad.
Here to give us a bowl full of salad.
Soulful ballad.
Soulful ballad is our leader, Ted Tingle.
Wow. Well, that's a surprise, I must say. However, now that I'm here, I should give it my best, like I always do. Hi there, hop pickers! It's Alan Farman here with your pick of the crops. On to Unit 2, all pea time. Give you now a lovely song dedicated to our brothers in the Egg Marketing Board. We gives you now, accompanied by Les Champignons de la Chanson, singing toadstools, gives you the inimitable Egg Marketing Board Tango.
It's the Egg Marketing Board Tango. In other words, the dance of love.
You go down to the Palais, you're eager for a dance. You see a lovely stranger and your eyes meet quite by chance. She's warm and she's desirable with lips meant to be kissed. So you stand 8 feet apart and do the twist. The tango, you get the chance to hold her oh so near, and you gaze into her lovely eyes of blue. And while you're dancing, you whisper sweet nothings in her ear. She says sweet nothing doing back to you. You give her ear a nibble, you give her cheek a peck. You got her in a grip of steel, you're breathing down her neck. And then she says those magic words that thrill you through and through. You've been eating pickled onions, haven't you? Once I met a girl called Kitty who was pretty as could be. She lived up in the city and she asked me round to tea. But pretty witty Kitty, she tried to pull my leg, so I hit her, what a pity, with a soft-boiled egg. The wireless played a tango and I held her in my arms as we swayed and we glided round the room. And when her dad come in, we carried on. Alas, I didn't know he was deaf and he couldn't hear the tune. He grabbed me by the collar, he hit me with a vase.
He chased me down the garden and he kicked me in the grass. So now I swear I'm finished, as true as stars above, with the tango, the dance of love.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We here in England are very proud of the fact that we have in this country the fastest film director in the world, none other than Mr. J. Arthur Clinker. And the film you are about to see, he wrote it in the morning, rehearsed it at lunchtime, and shot it in the afternoon, and put it together coming home on the train in the evening. It's me, Rudy.
Rudy, come in, Rudy.
Why, but it's good to see you again after all these years. Oh, Mitzi, I've missed you so.
Do you like my little home?
It's charming.
There's a lovely view from this window. Isn't that lovely?
Not half as lovely as you are.
You mustn't say things like that, Rudy. Can I get you a drink? Vodka straight, if I remember rightly. Do sit down.
Yes, what is it?
I'm leaving Europe for good.
Leaving Europe? Where will you go?
Australia.
Australia? Australia's no place for a girl like you.
Nonsense. I think I shall fit in there very well. I shall be one of the new Australians. I shall miss you, Rudy. I'll never forget how you stood on my shoulders for hours, filing through the prison bars. No, I'll never forget your great feat. And, Rudy, just to remind you of those days, I've ordered your favorite meal, samblot.
Darling.
Action.
You know, that was a wonderful meal you cooked, Mitzi. Just like old times.
Just like old times.
You know, it was awfully sweet of you, Mitzi, to remember that I like the Zamblot. And that's so like you. You're a very sweet person.
You said that very nicely, Rudy. I'm flattered.
Back in Harburg, was I the only man you ever loved?
You want the truth?
Of course.
No, Rudy, you were not. You see, Captain Stoneleigh and I...
You mean Dick? My superior officer?
Yes.
Then that explains it. All those visits of his. All the time I thought he was coming for his rations, he was... Dirty, filthy beast! Babe.
Rudy, what's come over you? I've never seen you like this before.
I'm sorry. But when you told me about Dick, everything went black. There, is that better?
Much better.
Perhaps I'd better leave.
No, don't go, Rudy. It's raining outside.
Is it? It's not, you know. Just look out there.
No, Rudy, don't go. Stay just a little longer. If you go, I shall be all by myself. I shall have no one to turn to for consolation. Look at me. Can't you see I'm a woman?
Yes, I can see that.
Very well. I'll stay a little longer. I'm sure it'll be all right.
I know it will. Oh, Rudy, kiss me.
12, take one.
At night I've dreamt of holding you like this, alone,
just you and I.
Never forgive myself. I'd better go.
But why, Rudy? I haven't changed.
Haven't you?
No. I'm just as fond of you now as I ever was.
Look at me, Mitzi. There's something I feel you should know.
Yes, Rudy? What is it?
Well, it's me to explain this, but first met you, Your Grace, but since then, a little older and a little wiser, and to England, I didn't meet one with whom I share my good and spoil it now.
Rudy, are you trying to tell me something?
Yes.
I think I know what it is. You're married, aren't you?
I'm afraid so.
In the days of Let's Pretend, many years ago, in a castle lived a king with a mother he loved so.
Oh, Mother darling, Mother angel, Mother my love. I shall thump that old crow if you... Mother, where are you?
All right, I'm in there, dear. What is it you want?
Well, have you sent out the invitations to my wedding on Friday?
Yes, I have. And why wasn't the Duchess of Langley on the list?
Well, she hasn't been invited. That's cause why not.
But why not?
Well, Mother, look what happened at my birthday party. She sat right next to me right through dinner. She kept making strange noises.
She couldn't help it.
I know, but Mother, but she kept looking at me as if I'd done it. She kept pretending it was my chair scraping on the floor.
Oh, well, the invitations to your wedding have all been delivered. Though why you should want to marry a foreign princess, a girl you haven't even seen, I simply cannot understand.
But, Mother, she couldn't be any worse than some of them old boiling pieces you've been trying to palm me off with. I mean, look at the Lady Gertrude, I mean, I ask you.
Ah, but a lot of men like widows.
Well, so do I, Mother, but not when they got sons older than what I am. I mean, how could I go up to a 40-year-old baron and say, kiss Daddy goodnight? I feel like an idiot.
But why a French girl?
Well, Mother, she's been highly recommended. I hear she's a morceau de toute droit.
And what is this here?
It's my French phrase book. I'm learning to parler français, Mother.
But whatever for?
Oh, sacred blue, Mother. I'm marrying her on Friday. I mean, Friday night we'll be having our cocoa together. How will I be able to tell her it's too hot or not sweet enough if I don't speak the lingo? Look, I tell you what you do, little Mother. Nip right on off out of it and see the chef and tell him to prepare a sumptuous repast for the wedding feast.
Very well.
Here, Mother, just a minute. Tell him I don't want no more than suet dumplings like we had on my birthday. Like cannonballs they were. Oh, they did give me jip. And Mother, don't forget, I'm marrying a French lady. They're used to good quality cooking, what they call horticulture. La plume de ma tante est dans le jardin. That'll get her going for a start, eh?
Oh, most gracious Majesty.
Oh, most noble king.
Oh, what do you want?
All the wedding clothes for the royal couple, my liege. For the ceremony, this for the bride and this for the groom.
Yes, well, how about after?
Yes, my liege, after.
After the seminary, you know, when we retired to the royal boudoir.
For the royal boudoir, my liege, we thought something like this. Note how daring it's cut, my liege. How it hugs every subtle curve. How the deep V neckline is teasingly embroidered with the most delicate white lace.
Well, I must say you've done a grand job on that. What's she gonna wear? Yes, that'll do fine. Now, look, I'm going to my study now, and I'm going to study, see? So I don't want no interruptions. C'était un jour de nuit très dur.
And what means that, my liege?
It has been a hard day's night.
Welcome, merry
Whoa! Terrible news, my lords, dreadful news. Well, out with it, man, what is it? A plot, my lords, a plot to kill the king. A plot to kill the king? But who would dare do a thing like that? His Majesty's cousin Catherine, Duchess of Whitworth. She has this day sent him an invitation to take wine with her tomorrow. And there within the castle walls, the assassination is to take place. You've done well to warn us. Away with you now.
And with the king out of the way and yet unmarried, Catherine will be next in line for the throne.
We must stop the invitations reaching the king.
But she'll kill him anyway, even if he goes to her or not. She still has 5 days in which to dispose of him before the wedding. How long since the king and Catherine last met?
About 10 years. Why?
10 years, I wonder. Supposing we sent someone who looked like the king, dressed like the king and talked like the king.
But you think we could find such a man?
It's our duty to try.
So off went the conspirators and scoured the countryside. They searched the villages and towns, the hamlets far and wide, until one day they found a peasant fishing on the beach, the very double of the king in everything but speech.
Oh, no, brown cow! No, you concentrate not. How now, brown cow? Hey, nay, brown cow! It's better if you practice. You'll be able soon to say like me, how now, brown cow?
I'm going to have a heck of a job getting that into a conversation, though, ain't I?
Let us try once more. Oh, that's a nice light pike handle.
That's a nice light pike handle.
Listen, boy, listen. That's. Look, that. A nice light pike handle. That's a nice light pike handle.
That's a nice light pike handle.
The king doesn't talk like that anyhow. He talks like this. It's a nice light pike handle.
It must be funny then if he talks like that. That's a nice light pike handle.
By George, he's got it. He's really got it.
You did it!
His Majesty's tailor.
Now for the test. Another word, remember. Up with his tunic.
I don't know, he's ready on.
Oh, noble king, oh most gracious majesty, I came post-haste in answer to your majesty's summons. Pray, what does His Majesty require of me?
His Majesty requires a duplicate set of visiting clothes.
Oh, the magenta. Oh, what taste, what impeccable taste His Majesty has. But could I not just measure His Majesty's other visiting clothes?
No, I think you'd better measure him. He appears to have got much fatter.
Oh, my Lord Albert, please. His Majesty was never fat. Well built, solid, comfortable, yes, but never fat.
Well, I say he's fat.
Lord Albert, pray have a care. His Majesty has that healthy, athletic build, so admired by the ladies and envied by men. Now, if His Majesty would be so kind as to raise his exquisitely shaped arm just a teensy-weensy bit. Oi, put your arm up, fatty. Say we will all lose our heads. Please be careful.
Well, we caught him. This isn't the king. If this were the king, would I prod him like this?
Oh, would I kick him like this? But he looks so like him. I know. You're a great fat nit.
You're an ugly great layabout.
Oh, I say, may I?
Be my guest.
Oh, you big fat oaf. Oh, that is. Oh, you tight-fisted old twit. When are you going to pay your bill? Oh, I never did like him anyway. Is this fun? You know, he owes me for 37 suits of doublet and hose, to say nothing of other bits and tripperies. I don't think I like this game.
And if you forget your accent when we go to Whitworth Castle this afternoon, you'll like it even less.
Here, watch it.
The crow goes to the treetop, the duck goes to the water, Lord Albert goes to Whitworth, and the lamb goes to the slaughter.
King Henry.
Henry, come kiss your cousin.
Right, oh, missus.
Your Grace. Your Grace, say your Grace.
For what I am about to receive.
Remember what I told you.
Oh, no, brown cow.
What a wit the king has. Always a merry quip hanging from his lips.
Come, Henry, sit down.
Right.
You must tell me all your news.
You may leave us now, Lord Albert. The king and I have much to talk about.
Au revoir, your Grace. Goodbye, Fred, your Majesty.
So Catherine schemes her wicked schemes, completely unaware that the true king's found his invitation and will soon himself be there.
Why so distant, Henry? Oh, come a little closer.
Rightio, you don't mind.
Give me your hand. Let me place it against my cheek.
Oh.
Don't be so shy. Have you never caressed a maiden's cheek before?
Like only once.
And was it not soft and smooth?
I don't know, I had my gauntlets on at the time.
Oh, look, Henry, you haven't touched your wine yet.
So, well, I tell you what, you see, it's been rather a tiring journey. I should like to go and freshen up, if I may, if you don't mind. Would you be so kind as to tell me where the bathroom is?
Very well. It's straight along the corridor. You can't miss it.
I should try not to.
Well, it won't be long now. Her Gracious Majesty, Queen Catherine. I like it.
Oh, cousin, how lovely to see you again. You just haven't changed a bit, you know.
Should I have?
Tell me, have I changed much?
Hardly at all.
Nonsense. Since the last time I saw you, I've gone quite grey.
Yes. Well, drink your wine.
No, thank you. No, not a drop for me, thanks. Never touch the
Not
stuff.
just a small
No.
goblet.
No, not for me. No. If you'll forgive me, I think I'll go and see that my horse is all right. I may have to feed him. Excuse me. Be back in a jiff.
Well, if he won't take poison in his wine, I shall just have to poison the food. There. Enough to kill a regiment.
Oh, that's better.
How was it?
Very nice, thank you.
Was the horse all right?
What, in the bathroom? How many drinks you had?
I haven't had any yet.
And where's mine?
But you said you didn't want it.
I said no such thing. I think you're going potty, you are. I think I better nip down the apothecary and get you something for your head.
No, it's all right.
All right.
King's a fool. I shall outwit him yet.
I saw him. He was all right. I put his nose back on.
What? On the apothecary?
No, on the horse. What's the matter with you? Are you all right? You better sit down a little bit. Oh, you look quite flushed.
So late into the evening continues the deceit. A body falls into the moat. The plan is now complete. The royal couple marry, a very grand affair. 'Tis evening, and Lord Tenby now leaves the happy pair.
Well, Your Majesty, married at last.
Yes, my word. Though for a little while back at Whitworth Castle, I thought I wasn't going to make it.
Such an exquisite bride.
Oh, my word, yes.
But no doubt Your Majesty will want to retire.
Good night, good night, good night, good night.
Darling, I'm so tired. Don't you think it's time we retire?
If you say so.
Don't be long, darling.
No, I shan't be long, my poppet. Oh, I'm going to enjoy being married to her. Better than that old crow I got in a farmhouse, I tell you what.